Okay, my name is Ross Abelies, and I'm here today to interview a member of Martial Swanko Ministries and to hear about her own personal journey and experience as being part of the ministry. Welcome, Walewska.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you here today. I have just a few questions for you, so let's go ahead and get started.
Okay.
All right, so my first question is what is your professional background?
I'm a marketing specialist and also a corporate communications and PR manager. I used to work for international corporations here in my country, and pretty much is that. I speak three languages, so pretty much that.
Pretty awesome.
Thank
Um,
you.
and how did you become involved with the ministry?
Through a friend, through Geraldine. She is the one who got me into the Lord here in Caracas. And one night I had like a situation that I was dealing with, a very complicated one, and she told me about Martial and about the prayer line, and she told me, you know what, you need this because there's power there, and when you pray in agreement with everybody, great things happen. So we try it. Even though the communications here were not that good, we were like doing some sort of everything that could be done to have a possibility to join the prayer line. And after that, I saw, after a few weeks, only praying through the prayer line, not every day because it was not possible. I got the breakthrough and I got the miracle for the situation that I was going through.
Okay, and how has being a part of the ministry changed your life?
At the beginning, I was a little bit skeptical because I was like, how can this work? I mean, through a phone line. I mean, you're used to believe that you have to be in person, face to face with somebody and holding hands and all that. But after a while, understood that even the prayer line has more power. We are doing actually something more accurate. That is going on the spirit, elevating ourselves in the spirit, and become one in the spirit, which is something that we think we can do that when you're in front of someone, but it's actually more complicated to do it when you're in the phone line because you're actually moving on faith. That's it. You're just elevating yourself in a spirit realm, believing that you are connected with these people, and I think that has given me some, I don't know, more strength in my faith, because it's actually, you have to believe what you're listening, and you have nobody in front of you. You're just believing, and you're actually more spiritual. I believe that.
Wow, I mean, that is definitely true. In the past, you talked about that you had to be in a church, you had to be with someone. But in this day and age, and with technology,
Yeah.
um, I think a lot of that's changing. And most people I speak with that are a part of the prayer line realize that you don't need to be face to face with someone to be, in touch with the Lord and helping other people. Um,
Yes.
Now, you touched on a little bit of a miracle. My second question for you is, have you experienced any specific breakthroughs or miracles since you joined the IP network?
Well, it was, as I told you, I live in a country that is going to several political and economics challenges, to put it like something nice. But the thing is that, in addition to that, I had a situation with my ex, the father of my son, regarding, everything that is involved with travel permit and alimony and a lot of things that is usually involved with kids. In that particular time, I had to take my son to a doctor's appointment in Florida. And I was, looking for that doctor's appointment for 2 years. When they finally gave me the appointment for a neurological evaluation for a special treatment for my son, who has a brain paralysis, uh, the father of my son told me, yes, I mean, we're going there and I'm going to pay everything. And I was like, okay, let's do that. And 1 week prior to the travel, when we were like buying the tickets and everything and getting a special currency, like a special price for the U.S. currency here with the government, because it was a health issue. The father of my son did a very bad thing, that he threatened me, telling me that he was not going to give me the permission to take my son to the doctor unless I give him an illegal document where I was giving him power over my son. And I was like, I'm not going to sign anything, not under pressure. I mean, that's not right. So he was like, so you know what? I'm not going to buy the tickets, and there is no legal way that you're going to be able to go out from this country, because you need a paper signed by me. And I just said to him, "Are you really sure you want to do this?" And he started laughing and mocking, and he was like, yeah, because I have the power. What kind of power? I mean, you don't have any power. And he says like, yes, I have the money power. And I was like, no, you don't have any power. So he starts mocking like, oh, that's right, it's Jesus, your God, that has the power. And I look at him and I was like, I'm just gonna say that I bless you because I have to. But oh my
Right.
God, that's not right. So when I was not in the Lord, my usual reaction to that was, going bananas and going physical. But at that moment, instead of going crazy, I just, start to pray there in the meeting. And I was like, the Lord is going to open the doors, because he said that this treatment and this appointment was going to go. So I went to the how do you say that, to the court building here in Caracas to ask for that legal permission through a judge. But they were in vacation, in summer vacation, so the building was completely closed. There was no possibility whatsoever to get into that building, and not even close to get a travel permit. But I started to fast. I called the prayer line, and they told me, they gave me a very good prophetic word. They told me, you're going to make that, and it's not you, it's the Lord who's going to open the doors. And I was like, this is impossible. These people doesn't know what they're saying. Well, I have nothing to lose. I have to pray and I have to believe what they're saying to me. But, you know, it's really hard to believe that when you see physically a building totally closed, a government building totally closed. So I start fasting. The prayer line told me to fast. I start fasting. And the day that I started the fasting, I arrived to that legal building, to the government building, and I heard a voice that said to me, say that you're going to need a health permit. And I said, I need a health permit. So suddenly there was nobody in the building, and the door opened. I don't know who opened it, but the door was open. So I got in. And I sat there, yeah, with my Bible in fasting. I was mocking myself, even though, because I was like, oh my God, I must be looking like a crazy person because you have that crazy face because you don't believe what you're dealing with. And I'm like, okay, I'm in the building. It's totally empty. And suddenly there's a man walking in the hallway. And I was like, can I help you? And I'm like, yes, I'm here because I need a travel permit for my son. And I explained all the case. And he was like, when is the date? And I'm like, in a week. And he was like, okay, we're going to make this happen. I don't know if there's no judge in the building. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we'll see. I continue my fast. The second day I arrived, and they gave me a free lawyer, even though, because you cannot do the documents here by yourself. You need a lawyer. and I didn't have the money to pay a lawyer. So they gave me a free lawyer from the government. I went there and he did a great job with a great document. And I went to the building again with the document, and they said, you know what, the legal procedure is to call the father that is denying this permit. And I'm like, oh my god, this is going crazy, this is not going to happen. And they told me, we'll see, we have to do the procedures and we will see. And I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. So I gave the phone number of my ex and everything and the email. They tried to contact him, and eventually he didn't answer the phone. He did, because he didn't know who he was. I was supposed to travel on a Saturday flight at 6 in the morning, and I got the travel permit on Friday 5 p.m.
Wow.
Yes. Yes. So when they gave me that travel permit, it was a judge appear in the building 2 days before my travel. And I was crying already in the building because I was like, I'm not going to make it. And so my mother was like, you're not going to make it. And I'm like, I have to believe that I'm going to make it because the Lord told me that it's going to happen. And I never doubted, I was like, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to. And everybody in my family was like, oh my God, she lost it. I mean, she's totally crazy. She's just saying, I mean, there is no way this is going to happen. And she's like, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. And it did happen. But, you know, it was not easy. It was totally a faith miracle. The Lord did it. And at 4:30 that afternoon on Friday, I heard a woman screaming from the top of the end of the hallway. She was like, "Hey, are you Nicholas' mom?" And I was like, "Yes. Here's your document. Just wait 5 minutes to get the copy, and you can get out of here." And I'm like, "Who are you?" "I'm the judge." And I'm like, I just started to cry. I went out of the building with my travel document, and I was like sitting on the floor of downtown with the homeless, crying, but like, this is unbelievable. I cannot believe what is happening to me. And I gave that testimony on the prayer line. And Martiel was like, I don't know what you doubted. I mean, we told you that it was going to happen, that the Lord was going to do it. And I'm like, yeah, but when you look at all the circumstances and all the obstacles that I had, it was truly a miracle.
That is an unbelievable story. That is the definition of a miracle.
A miracle.
I mean, I would have lost hope. I mean, but you didn't, and you kept praying, and I mean, it's amazing. And that's just like one example of the amazing miracles that have come about through Martiel and her ministry.
Yes, I always had, I mean, they always had my backup, and they're always like, I even when I got through that test, because it was an awful test that I went through, I always put my phone on mute so they cannot hear me crying every night, because I was so desperate. So I was like battling myself between the the reason as a human being, saying, what are you doing? This is insane. It's not going to happen. I mean, you're going crazy. You're believing in some people that you don't even know, that is giving you a word by a phone. I mean, this is so insane what you're dealing. And going through a heavy fasting, because I was not even drinking water until 5 p.m. each day. And I only did like one meal a day, so I can go through 2 weeks. But I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. But it happened, and
it happened
merely through the prayer and the agreement of everybody, because everybody was like, you always doubt a little bit, because you're like, yeah, like those people are going to care about me. Like, yeah, they're going to pray about me. Yeah, sure thing. Because you have that sort of experience at church.
Of course.
Yeah, okay.
And
but it really happened.
That's what makes it so much different than just going to a regular church. And like that kind of gets into the next part of my questioning. We've discussed a little bit about the prayer line, and for our viewers, the prayer line is one of the largest aspects of Martiel Swenko Ministries and the IPIP network, and it's somewhere that you can call in onto a conference call, and you can meet with other believers and learn to you get activated in your gifts and everything. And my question for you, Walewska, is what would you say is your favorite part about the prayer line?
Well, there's a lot, because depending on the day and the situation that you're going through, there's a lot of benefits, to call it some way. Like, of course, to learn how to pray, because sometimes for me it was a very tough process, because I was new in in the path of the Lord, and I always prayed in Spanish. So I had to learn how to pray in English. So that was the biggest of the challenge. But so that's one thing that is awesome, because even though you don't know how to, the Lord give you the fluency to do it the proper way. So right now, when I pray, I can hear myself doing it on Spanish, but I'm actually doing it on English. So and it doesn't scare me anymore. So it gives you like a confidence in how to pray. Also, if you're looking for like direction or orientation, or you're going to those situations that you have no clue what to do, that that the Lord is going to respond, but you have no idea what He's going to do, the prophetic, the individual prophetic word is awesome for that time. Because even though sometimes you don't get it, like, oh, the Lord is, I see this or that, when you're in the spirit, you get the revelation. And there's not only one prophet in the prayer line, there's always like several people in spirit giving you accurate words, because at some point you see the manifestation of those words, you know so that's good. And also, when you're like, you're looking for more, you're hungry for more in the spirit, there comes the teaching, that even though you can attend to a church and you can go to the classes at church, because you can do the home groups at church and everything, it's not the same. Because at church, people reserve themselves about the teaching. They want to give you the tools, but like little, with a little bit of you know their suspicious ways. I don't know if suspicious is the word, but like, they're not going fluently. They don't want to give you everything. You know, they don't
Absolutely.
think that they don't want you to grow the way you're supposed to grow, because the church has a structure, and they need to have that structure. And with the prayer line, it doesn't work like that. I mean, for Martiel Swanko Ministry, she enjoys the fact that you are growing up. The minister of the prayer line gets benefits when you grow up, because you're able to reach to those gifts that you have been receiving from the Spirit. So you can, give it to the other person in the prayer line, and they can see your transformation in that moment. And that also becomes a great testimony to everyone, like, oh, look at this person, she's so fluent, and that, and you see the other. And sometimes you as a believer, you start to understand things that are going through your life. I mean, my personal experience is that I have a life with tons of situation. And sometimes, you can get discouraged, and you can get mad and everything. And but when you see the teaching, you speak, and Martia, and the people from the prayer line, Desiree and everything, they make sure you're in the teaching. They're like, send you a text message, oh, listen, we're going to talk about this, and this is good because you're going through that. So you know that they care, that there's not a church, is actually a family there. And they enjoy. the fact that you are growing, you know.
Yeah,
There's
absolutely.
only a pure heart interest there.
I mean, it's so much different than just a regular church. And, when I
It
first
is.
came on and started working with Martial, that is what shocked me so much, is how different it was. And the purpose is so you can grow and to teach people about their gifts. And
Yes.
they're so supportive, every single person. I mean, nobody knows me, and they're so nice, so kind, and have such encouraging words to say. And um, it sounds like you really got that from them especially when
Yes.
you needed it the most. They
Yes.
stood by you.
Yes.
Um, you know, how would you say that your Christian walk has changed since you became active on the prayer line?
Well, I start to believe like you get more independent. Like my Christian path has become like a more intimacy relation with the Lord, that you don't get that from a church because they want you in like a supervision relationship. Everything has to be supervised by church. If you ask too many questions, they're like, oh, watch out with her, she's like, hmm. And since I've been enjoying the nights at the prayer line, I can, I mean, just the fact that you can do it every night is just something that, for me, a person who needs constantly a word of encouragement, for me is like a lifesaver. Because when you're in church, you go what on Sunday, and if you're lucky to have a home group, like from the church, is what, Thursdays or Wednesdays. So when you're able to get that every night, it's like going to a spiritual spa, you know? You get all the
I
toxins,
like
all the
that.
contaminations from the world out. So you sleep totally in the spirit, and you just wake up renew, and you're ready for a new day, and you're like, okay, let's do this.
Right. Um, when you're not on the prayer line, do you fellowship anywhere?
Yes.
So you've joined a church?
Yes. Because my mother, when she saw my transformation, which I wasn't aware of it, she was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Why?" Because you look so different. And I'm like, "Am I fatter?" As a woman, you're like, "Am I fatter? Am I older?" And she's like, "No, you have something different. Are you in love?" And I'm like, "What? What are those questions?" And I'm like, "No, I'm in peace, actually." And she's like, "Oh, so what are you doing?" I'm like, "I became a Christian." And she was like, "Oh my God." She went, "Walewska just lost it again." Because I'm like, always, I was like a spiritual seeker. I mean, I went to Buddhism. I was the more Kabbalistic person that you can imagine. I was that because I was always looking for that enlightenment, that relationship with the Lord. But raised as a Catholic person,
Oh, so you
uh,
were raised in a Catholic household.
yeah, and in a Catholic school and everything. So you get your disagreement with religion, not with the Lord, but with religion. So you're like, and
I,
then
I can relate to that.
several situations, dramatic situations in my life, actually made me more angry to religion, to call it that way. So I was always looking everywhere. And when Geraldine told me, "You have to come to my church," I was like, "I don't go to those crazy church. You people are crazy." So same thing happened to my mom. And right now she's a permanent Christian. She
Wow.
goes, yeah, she goes every Sunday to a Christian church with me. My son goes every Sunday to church with us. He sings, he prays to the Lord, he loves it. He actually has two Bible for kids. He's always asking for that. And I have to be a part of a church here on earth. So
Here on
No,
earth.
sometimes the pastor gives you great enlightenment. And when you also go to a church and you have, at least my church has a great quorum, and they have a chorus of 35 people singing and a band and everything. So it's like, wow, it's really, wow, powerful when you go there. So, and my mom has been really touched in the spirit. So I make the effort to go every Sunday, and I really enjoy it. We really, really, really enjoy it. And we used to have a home group uh, with people from the church, but that always happens, that the home groups get like dissolved, and then there is another one. Then, so I do that because I think that the more you get involved in the spirit, the more happy you are, and the more in peace you are.
Well, that makes sense. Um, I have one final question for you. So, would you recommend the prayer line to people? And if you would, why would you recommend it?
Of course, I have recommended, and I think, as I told you, it is the best way to get like uh, like a more intimate relationship with the Lord, because the prayer line is doing something that everyone is teaching you about. Like, you have to go and don't look at things on the earth. You have to go and live in the kingdom, in the spiritual kingdom. And you're always like, yeah, okay, how do you do that? And in the prayer line, you actually do that because you don't see people. There's people in the United States, everywhere. There's people in the Caribbean, there's people in Latin America, and suddenly we're just, wow, in line, everybody in the spirit. You can feel your body, the manifestations of the spirit in your body. So I think that now more than ever, uh, people should join the prayer line, because we have just became human beings of technology, and we actually enjoy doing conferences by internet, and we love FaceTiming, and we love everything that goes through technology. So I think that this is like every Christian and non-Christian or new becomers should get involved with, because you're in the privacy of your home. Nobody is judging you, so nobody is looking at you. That, sometimes that in church can be like a little bit intimidating, like, oh, they're looking at me, and oh, I look like this, and no, I barely know the faces of everyone, because, and I don't know everybody in the prayer line, but I know them because of their WhatsApp pictures, actually. So, and even though when we get online, we're a family actually right now, and we know everything, and we know who is there because of the voice, and we know what she's going through because of the tone of her voice, and you ask like, oh, how are you? You get a little bit of intimacy there. So I think that right now, as the technology is part of our lives, definitely every Christian believer or new becomer should be part of the prayer line. Plus, you can do it at your home at night. You're actually relaxed. The kids are sleeping. It's like your mommy time, that you actually sometimes you put like a TV series or something. No, this is the most awesome TV series that you're going through. That is the prayer line. So it's the best quality time, the me time that you have.
Well, Waleska, it was a pleasure talking to you today. It sounds like this ministry has completely changed your life.
It
And
is.
I see that
It is
smile
going
on
to
your
continue.
face.
I mean, there's a lot of miracles that need to be done.
Right,
So
right. But keep spreading the word and keep smiling because you have a beautiful smile, and
thank you.
I can tell that you really do have God in your life, and
Thank
it's
you.
so important. So again, thank you so much for taking time to meet with me and answer some of my questions. Um, and I hope to speak with you soon.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Goodbye.
Bye bye.